Hello, everybody. I'm Coby Bird, and I'm here with
his mom, Rachael Bird. We're here. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
It's midnight. We don't have margaritas for midnight margaritas. Sorry, everyone. We decided. Shannon asked us, said, "Would you guys like to have an hour on the 44-hour podcastathon?" And I'm not an on-camera person. I started Let's Talk All the Things with Shannon because I love her and she's my friend. And I said, sure, friend, I'll help you. But when she asked for Coby and I to take an hour, I thought, well, that would be really fun. We can kind of talk about what we do, what our life is. Coby's going to be painting. We'll get into that in a minute. But when Shannon asked us what time we wanted during the 44-hour podcastathon, and the reason it's 44 hours is because a few weeks ago, the prevalence for autism was 1 in 44. Now, as of last week, it's 1 in 36. So 1 in 36 people have autism, are diagnosed. And that is what they did is they took children ages 4 and 8. So 1 in 36 children have autism. That's a pretty high number. The prevalence when Coby was diagnosed at 4 years old was, I think it was 1 in 40. Yeah, so the fact that it's 1 in 36 now is pretty insane. I think there's a lot of things we have to look at to kind of see where that is, why we're 1 in 36. And that's part of why Shannon decided to do this podcastathon. She wanted to raise money. She wanted to raise awareness. She wanted to just take the time to give awareness. There's a lot of parents out there. I remember when Coby was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the services were. I still, even until he was pulled out of school and I was homeschooling him, is when we finally found our autism community. So Cobes and I are here today to just kind of, he's going to be painting, we're going to be talking.
Just a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. So we said midnight is perfect because we don't sleep. Midnight's usually when we're dancing around the house and baking things and cooking and being crazy. So we figured.
So great timing.
Yeah, great timing. So Coby, show them what you're going to be painting.
So I'm going to be painting this. It's so they're triangles, and then I have all the colors in order. So I'll be doing that, and here you go.
And at the end, we're actually going to start auctioning off. If you go to Coby's Instagram, it's at the Coby Bird on Instagram. There is a QR code, and if you you click on that QR code, you can start bidding. What we're raising money for, Coby, you said you wanted to raise it for what?
For iPads.
For iPads, for people on the spectrum, for communication, for information. So anything that Coby raises for this painting, the auction is going to close on the 6th, which is Friday, at 10 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully we'll be able to see this painting tonight. Go ahead and start painting, babe.
All right, I will start.
And we have it time-lapse, so we're gonna have a little time-lapse video of Coby doing this. I did want to show you, Coby did his very first painting not too long ago, a couple weeks ago. And so this was today. Coby actually did the painting. Oh, let's see. Coby did the painting to put up in the studio here. And so this is Coby in the studio with earlier today when they kicked off the podcastathon with Dr. Doreen Granpeche, with Joe Montagna, with Holly Robinson Pete, and with Shannon Penrod. So Coby is, I don't know if you can see that. So that's kind of a fun little picture of them with his picture, which is ginormous, up in the studio, the very first thing Coby's ever done. So I'm a proud mom. So Coby, what is your color theme for this today?
So I'm going to be doing yellow to orange to light orange to like a pinkish red and then to dark red.
Fine.
Something little, just something like citrusy.
Citrusy. Ooh, I like that. Citrusy.
This is Starburst.
Starburst. Yeah. Okay, I love that. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So Coby's going to be painting while we're chatting. Coby and I were kind of talking about what we wanted to talk about today, and we were just kind of talking about things in the car on the way here and what we wanted to talk about. One of the things that, if you don't know who Coby is, first of all, he is an individual with autism. He's an actor. He's a keynote speaker. Anything else you want to add?
I'm an advocate for people on the spectrum. Yeah.
He is a crooner. He loves to sing. I guess you sing all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff,
everything.
And Coby is my son. He's going to be 21. I am his mom, and I've been on this journey with him for the last 21 years. Like I said, he was diagnosed when he was 4.5, and he was diagnosed because his language, he always kind of reached all of his benchmarks, but he was at the backside of those. So if it was something like you have to walk by the time you're 19 months old, he would literally, or 15 months old, it would be like 15 months in a day. Yeah. And then I noticed that his language just wasn't what typical children's language was, and his behaviors. And there was a point when he was about 2.5 where everything kind of went dark, and he went from a smiley kiddo to kind of not making eye contact, having a hard time with things. Coby, we were talking on the way here. What are some of your first memories of you being, just having autism? What do you remember of your journey?
I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of what autism was until 3rd grade, but at the time, in my own little kid head, I thought it was being allergic to gluten and dairy. So I am gluten and dairy free, and I have been since I was 5, and that was what I equated to autism at the time. So when mom was telling me about people on the spectrum, I assumed that they were I assumed autism was just being allergic to gluten and dairy. So that was how I saw it. But then finally, when I knew what autism was, and the basics, I think I was around 8 or 9.
So today, right now, if I said to you, what does autism mean, or what is your personal definition of someone with autism or someone on the spectrum?
So in my own head, or in my opinion, autism really is what is it? I'm trying to think. Autism is...
It's hard to paint and think. You can stop painting.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to think of the right words.
What does autism feel like to you?
What's funny is that it's not, you don't feel it. In a lot of ways, we're all the same. We all have the same thoughts. We all have the same feelings and the same everything, same relations or similar relations. But one of the things about autism is that our brains work a lot more differently. So it can mean social interactions or sensory issues, all kinds of things. And For some, yeah.
So I know we were talking the other day. You were telling me that with your autism, with your autism, you were saying it's, and I think you were talking about this earlier too, with Holly and Joe on the show, that for you, when you're you have something in your head that you want to say.
Yeah. So with autism, there's a lot of external. There's stuttering, there's stimming, there's sensory issues, social interactions, all kinds of things. But the internal to me is for me the most important part of autism, because it's how we think, it's how we feel, it's how we see things, it's how we hear things, it's how we perceive everything around us, and in a lot of ways it's different. But also one of the things is that for a lot of people who are neurotypical, when they're thinking of something to say, it comes out a lot easier. But for us on the spectrum, it's a lot more difficult to get things out. So I know what I'm going to say right now, especially right now. But when it comes out, it isn't the way I intended to, and it's like a ball is up my throat, or it's like my tongue is on those. So my tongue is tied, so I can't fully really get it out. But one of the hardest things about it is that it comes with social interaction. So I have major social anxiety, and one of the things I think about is oh God, I got to think about what to say before I say something. If I were to go to a special occasion like a party, I need to think about like what to say or like what like how do I start the conversation. That to me is like the most difficult part. How do I start it? I know what to say in my mind, but one of the hardest parts about that is trying to get it out, trying to execute that idea. And for a lot of people on the spectrum, it's like that.
Well, and I know that you were saying, I mean, we say this all the time, that no two people on the spectrum are the same. Everybody is different. You can have identical twins on the spectrum and their journey is going to be different. One's verbal, one's nonverbal, one can have sensory issues, one can wear colors, and one can, I mean, there's so many different things about being on the spectrum. And I think for me as a parent is I always just wanted to make sure that you were okay and that you knew that no matter what, you weren't different, that we're all different. Look, I'm so different. We talk about, one of the things that we talk about is the words that we use is low functioning and high functioning. We don't use those. We say less support or more support. And the reason we do that is because, listen, I'm high functioning at doing things like art and baking and cooking and being crazy. I'm really high functioning at that. But I'm low functioning right now at running a marathon. It's not going to be something that I'm going to go out and probably win that marathon. And so everybody has things that we're high functioning and low functioning. But we like to say, a lot of our friends that are nonverbal, you wouldn't know how talented they were because it's all in there. They just can't get it out the way we typically would. Maybe someone hasn't found it. Maybe there's different ways to pull that out of them, whatever it is. And so, you know, people, what do people say to you typically when they see you or like think about your autism? Because you do.
Oh, I can't tell you about autism, or I can't see it, or I don't see it. But the thing is that you don't, you're seeing the preparation, you're seeing the execution of the preparation. You're not seeing the preparation. You're not seeing what I'm going through, preparing for putting my mask on or for preparing for something, because that's what I'm going through all the time. That internal is always in my head. So when the external is coming out, it's a lot more difficult. So it's like right now I'm thinking, I'm trying to think of what to say, but it's like, okay, when you're talking, you're thinking like quickly on the dot, like of what to say. So for a lot of people with autism, it's like, okay, now I gotta think of what to say. But the thing is, when you're talking, you're thinking fast. And for a lot of people like me, it's very hard to think fast. So it's trying to find what's easier and what's more and what's best for us.
Right. And for you, I know, like, okay, so you said earlier, you talked about masking. What does masking mean to you?
So you know, like how in Harry Potter there's the invisibility cloak. For masking is like putting on a cloak of personality, or a cloak of common collectiveness. So the mask is me. That's the thing. It isn't just another personality. It is me, but it's trying to find the best way to bring in that version of me and execute it well. So I'm trying to think. See, right now I'm trying to think of it.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's no time limit. There's no wrong answers, and you can take your time, or we can come back to it.
But you're right. So masking in a lot of ways is trying to bring that version about it, that version out of you the best way you can. It's trying to bring in what society sees as normal or sees as typical. So
trying to get you to fit into what their box is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's basically what masking is, and I've masked pretty much my whole life. And it was just when I was starting acting and when I was just starting to come out of my shell, when I was starting to have more language, that was when my masking began, because it was me practicing how to deal with social situations and how to go on every day.
Well, I know one of the things that one day I said to Coby you don't have to mask. Like I said, Coby, because we were talking about it, and I see the backside of it all for him. I see the preparing. I see when he's stressed out. I see on the way to an event or something like that where he's really struggling. And I try to tell him, like, we don't have to go. And he's like, no, I got it. I just got to prep. He needs to be quiet, has to have the right music, whatever it is. And I let him have that space before and after an event because because he's socialized or masked or just the anxiety of being with people. I learned to what space he needs. If he just wants to go in his room and listen to music and close the door and whatever that he needs to come down. I think Holly said this morning or this afternoon that RJ after work comes home and jumps on a trampoline for 2 hours. I was like, that's brilliant. He's getting his yayas out. That's what he has to do to come down from that. And I thought that was so great to hear that other people, I think that's good to know that other people on the spectrum, I mean, I know some people, I used to have to come home from work and I would close everything down because you're so overstimulated. And so for someone like you on the spectrum who that's a little bit harder, it's nice to see. I'm actually seeing there's some people with questions. Someone said, Coby and her mom, I have high-functioning autism and ADHD, sensory processing disorder, depression, OCD, anxiety, stress. I'm 36, love from Culver City. So nice to meet you both. Eric, it's so nice to meet you as well. Eric. Thank you for being here with us. And we appreciate you watching with us in midnight all the way from Culver City. But going back to masking, I think one of the things that we have to understand is I try to give you your space and see where you're at. And one of the things that I asked you recently was, Coby, are you wanting to date someone? Yeah. I recently got back into the dating world, and we've been talking openly about it and about what that means. I'm at that age, And I was like, Coby, he's 20, and I said, how, do you want a relationship? Is that something you want to do? And what was your answer?
I said, I'm 20 years old. I'm barely even an adult, and before I love somebody, I need to learn to love myself. I'm at the age where I'm still figuring out.
I mean, how profound is that, guys? Really,
I'm still figuring out myself and who I am and what I want to do, and there are so many things that I'm learning about myself every single day, and we'll get to that later. What
are you learning about yourself every day?
So one of the things I was telling my mom a few months ago was that. One of the so for a lot of people for a lot of people with autism, some of them have issues with emotion or trying to understand emotion, trying to understand facial expressions. For me, I'm the exact opposite. But instead of it being normal, it's turned up to like 1 million. So emotions to me are I'm so sensitive to emotions.
You know what I remember with that is every time, and you still do this, when we're in a movie, when I was little, Coby would come and he would take his 2 fingers and put them here if I was crying. And he didn't want to watch things. And you still do this when we're watching a movie, if it's an emotional part. He would look over at me in the theater or look at me while we're watching. You still do. You did it the other day when we were, we went to Alan Menken the other day. And you know me, I get a little teary when I hear some of those songs. And I saw you looking over at me, and it made me think of when you were younger, because you didn't like to see that emotion.
And an emotion to me is so powerful, and it's so big, and it's so so poignant in like the visible way that to me, like when I'm reading a book or when I'm watching a movie or when I'm just anything to do with like stories. If there's a specific moment in that story that affects me so much, I have to shut it off because if it digs in that deep, I need to process that emotion and see if I can keep on going. So if I'm watching something that has to do with autism or with bullying or with
things that you connect with,
socializing, everything. I have to pause it, or I just start bawling my eyes out because that emotion is so powerful to me. So it's like trying to find. So it's like I just found that out, and I told my mom, a lot emotion affects me so much. Like I get so invested in so many things.
Well, even when you read your book.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like a few days ago, I was watching a show and. Oh yeah. So a big thing happened, like a character death, and I screamed because...
And I thought the house was coming down.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening? And he's like, I'm watching my show. And I was like, Coby, you can't do that. And I had a moment because it scared me because I thought, oh my gosh, what happened? And I realized like, I need to let him have that emotion. I need to let him feel that. But it did scare me. It's like someone in the car when they go, oh, and you go, oh, you think you're going to hit something or whatever it is. We all have our own emotions, right?
Exactly. But like there were moments where I'll just be sitting and I'll be reading a book. Like there'll be a moment in the book where that's just so emotional that I'll be just bawling my eyes out. So it's like, so there are so many things like that that I'm learning about every day.
Right.
And the thing is that there are so many things that I need to learn about that I don't need to fix, but I need to stop being so hard on myself. I need to say to myself, you know what? This is okay. This is who you are. This is
be fine.
Be fine. Be chill. All is good. And that's what I'm trying to learn, or what I'm trying to focus on. So, dating. Finding my significant other, it's not put aside, but it's not what I'm focusing on specifically. So it doesn't mean that I'm not all for finding somebody. Like if I meet somebody tomorrow or this week or next month, awesome. If I don't, also awesome. That's not my focus, and
you're not out there looking for
exactly. And I'm happy either way. I'm happy where I am, and to me, finding somebody isn't the end goal. There really is no end goal in life until the life ends. So it's like finding somebody isn't going to complete me, because the only thing that can really complete me is myself. So it's like
How come you're so profound?
So it's trying to find that realization, that self-love.
He's teaching me these things because I'm in my 40s and I'm still trying to deal with all of these things. So the profound, sometimes when he tells me these things, I'm like, when he said to me, when I asked him that question about, do you want a girlfriend? Are you looking for love? Or like, is that something you're interested in? And he said, I don't want to be in a relationship until I can learn to love myself. Mm-hmm. And I went, do you know how many hundreds of thousands and millions of people need to know that?
Yeah.
So I actually learned a lot from you, Coby, when it comes to stuff like that. You impressed me. So one of the things that Coby and I want to share that we haven't shared with anybody yet is we did something crazy this last week. And we're going to share it, a little bit about it here. You're going to be able to see about it and hear more about it on Saturday, April 8th. But there is something called the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. And this is their 10th year doing their challenge. And they give a theme, and you have to write, direct, film, produce, edit, score, everything with the film it was from March 28th to April 2nd. Everything in that time. Coby and I have never written a script. Coby and I I've never directed, edited. He acted in it solely himself. Mm-hmm. He played multiple characters. And so we actually got to do this together. I brought our slate from our movie. It's called The Question. So the question, this is the question for Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. It's a short film. We started it on the 28th, and we are so excited. Coby and I wrote and produced it together. It is about, you had little categories, and the category that we had, it was romance. And then we had a subcategory, and our category was first encounter. So it is, Coby's played two characters, Hero and Reflection. And Hero is struggling on asking someone out on a first date. And Reflection is the side of him that is the common collective side that talks to him in the mirror and tells him, you got this.
You can do this.
And so we'll get to share with you guys. We're going to put links up and all of that fun stuff on April 8th when we start our campaign, because there is an award for, I think it's called the Visibility. Is it Visibility? I can't remember what it is. Oh, no, it's the awareness campaign. So we are really excited to share. We haven't talked about it at all. And again, we've never written, directed, produced, edited All of that fun stuff, huh, Copes? You were the number one, the number two. There's two in there. So you were number one and number two. It was really exciting. It was really exciting.
It really was.
Also how did you feel about it?
You know what? At first, I was very nervous about it, and I thought we actually decided that we would do it on the day I painted the canvas. So that was like a big.
And it was
day.
loose.
Yeah.
We were like, should we do this?
Should we do this?
There's no teams. Should we try this together?
So it was very daunting at first, but we did it in over the course of 24 hours. We wrote it, we edited it, we filmed it, we did all of that in just 24 hours.
And then our brilliant friend Brandy Thomas, who is a composer, scored it for us. So she actually scored, we sent it over and she scored it within 48 hours too. So it's really cool that it has its own original score. And the rules of the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge is Nick Novicki, who started I think this is a drinking game, Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. Nick Novicki started it 10 years ago because he wanted actors in front, and people in the entertainment industry in front and behind the camera to have authentic representation, to show people that people with disabilities can do it in front and behind the camera. And so it's really neat what he's done, and Coby's never been able to do it. So we thought for the 10th anniversary, we've got to do something, right?
And the thing is that I think I'm actually glad we did it together because it was something. It was the first time we did anything like that, and it was our
zero
first
budget.
Time zero budget. This was our first film. So it was, to me, I think doing it just the two of us, it was cool because even though we learned from our experiences, like being on set and putting those experiences.
My gosh, I'm totally interrupting you. Sorry.
Oh,
Coby.
no, it's okay. You're good.
But like even just running camera and doing a camera test.
Yeah.
Because we filmed it in our bathroom in our apartment, and I have so much more respect for I've always had respect.
Yeah.
Crew worked so hard. All of our amazing Lock and Key crew. We love you more than anything. They're some of our favorite people in the whole wide world. But your job, even more so now. I bow down to you.
Deep respect.
Editing, lighting.
You guys rock.
Everything. All of you guys. Makeup, hair and makeup. The great thing, Coby, you were really easy with hair and makeup. But I swear to you guys, every one of your jobs, all of our crew family, we love you. Someone did ask, Eric said, how long have you been an actor in the entertainment biz, Cobes?
I've been acting for a good 8 years. Yeah, or 2016, right? So was that 8 years or was that 7 years ago?
I think about 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. 7 years.
7 years.
So almost 8 years. But when I started acting, I was pulled out of middle school for bullying, and there was this program. There was this theater program I was joining, and it was for people on the spectrum and for all kinds of disabilities. And I didn't. Before I didn't even know I wanted to act. And originally the reason why I was doing it was because I loved to sing, Mom wanted me to do it because she knew I love singing, and also it was getting me out there. This also was the first time I was really like in the autism community, so it was like my first. It was my gateway into that. So that was how that all began. But the only thing I knew was that I loved to sing. But being there was also where I discovered that my love for being on stage, for getting in character, and that was also where I discovered acting. So the first show I ever did, I loved because when I'm on set, I've said this many times, but I think it's really important, especially for being on the spectrum, is when I'm on set, all of my sensory issues and all of my external is all gone because I'm so hyper focused on being in character, on focusing on that because in my head that to me is to me I'm my character, I'm not myself. So if my character were to have sensory issues, then they still would be there. But if it were more severe, then it would be more severe. But if it were to be, but if the character had no sensory issues whatsoever, then that would be gone. So I think in a lot of ways, I'm that character, and that character is me. So I'm not. So my autism is kind of put on hold for a minute because I'm so focused on that character. But that's why I love acting, because my autism and my external doesn't get in my external doesn't get in the way of that. And it's something that I can be comfortable, and that's why I love acting, because
It's because you're so hyper focused on your character, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you.
But also, I feel comfortable. Like I don't. It's the one thing where I don't feel. It's the one thing that I don't feel overwhelmed over. So I feel comfortable. I feel like myself, and it's cool. But it also lets me work on my imagination, because I have a big imagination. I've had such a big imagination since I was a kid, and it's still going strong. So it's like.
Wait, do you remember your invisible girlfriend?
Oh yeah.
What was her name? I remember her name. Do you remember it?
No. I remember that I had 99 cousins.
You had 99 cousins.
99 cousins, yep.
And you had, every cousin had a name, and you also at one point said there was a boy that would come in your window at nighttime and I was like, what's happening? And you were like, oh, I have a friend that plays with very limited language. But do you remember your girlfriend's name? Her name was Lily.
Lily, yeah, Lily.
Lily.
Oh gosh.
And Lily.
Oh
and
gosh.
She was so real. And I remember thinking, like, do we just go with this or not? I was like, of course we go with this. You bought her flowers for Valentine's, but Lily was very, very real to you.
Oh no. There also was another one. So one of my other. So I had two cousins. One was Maggie from China, and then the other was Robin, who was Robin. He was my twin cousin, so he looked just like me, only except he had black hair, and he was incredibly rich.
That is so funny.
That's still in my head.
When those were in your head, were they very real to you?
Oh yeah, very real to me.
And I wonder where those, like, what?
Who knows?
I love that.
But yeah, like I had a lot of imaginary friends back as a kid, and
I remember.
That was such a big part of my life. I still remember something happened. Like we had a fight when I was a kid, and
me and you.
Yeah, me and you, and we were driving back. I was saying, I was in tears, and I was saying, like, in my own head, I'm sorry that I yelled at you. Lily and I broke up.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah.
You were so upset, and you were having like a tantrum, and I didn't understand what was going on, and I couldn't figure it out. And finally, I said, Coby, like, what's going on? And he was just sobbing, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what. Usually, I could kind of figure out what what the difficult behavior was from, or what was happening, and I couldn't figure it out. And finally, he just started. Just sobbed and said, Lily and I broke up, and I'm so sad. And I kind of knew when you and Lily broke up. That was kind of the end of all of your cousins. It's like it's almost really like when you started to have language. So I'm wondering, how that's so interesting. I forgot about that.
That was my language. My imaginary friends and my my imagination was my language at the time.
I know some people were asking about because we asked some questions on your social media, and some were asking, like, what are your favorite moments of Lock and Key, and what are your favorite moments on and off set of Lock and Key? Do you have any favorites that you could think of?
Just being there on set, just being with everybody, and it was such a healthy, and it was such a great environment, because it wasn't just work, but also it was also like a good social occasion. So it was getting out there, it was communicating, but one of the things I love about acting is that I'm all about details, and I'm all about, like, memorizing those details and saying, okay, my character would do this, my character would do that. So one of my very favorite parts about acting is talking about the director, about the character, and about the blocking. So blocking is kind of like in acting language, it's like choreography, but so it's like where the actor is standing, or where they're sitting, or where they're
what direction they're going.
Yeah, exactly. talking with the director about like the blocking and about the detail about where the props go and about like what my character would do. Oh no, my character was holding something with this hand, or oh no, I was looking this way, but the camera, but on the next take, on the next take, I was looking this way. So
yeah, for continuity, you have to do it the same way every time,
and that
right?
that to me is like pure satisfaction because it's talking about those details, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can talk with the crew about the details. Like that to me, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. Like that to me is one of my really that to me really is one of my favorite parts about like just acting, is just talking with the crew about the details and like where things go and the blocking, and that to me is it's so much fun.
Okay, so I have to ask you, I don't think I've ever asked you this. What is it like for you to prepare? Because we do auditions all the time together. Mm-hmm. I read them with you, but I never have asked you what you do to prepare to get into that character. What is it that helps you put that character on?
So I talk to myself. So one of the things I do is sometimes I'll stand in the mirror and I'll talk to myself in that character and I'll start a conversation. So that's like and that also applies to everything else, like going to occasions, going out like to parties and to all kinds of things. And it's like trying to like come up with the conversation in my head and trying to start the conversation. So acting is probably like the main primary focus. I'll talk to myself with my character in my head in the mirror.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. Actually, once you see our film, The Question, you'll see that we kind of display that, right? Mm-hmm. That talking into the mirror and practicing that over and over is what helps you bring internally what you've got going on to externally what you want to say and do, right?
Exactly.
Which is so cool. What were some of your favorite off-screen moments with Lock and Key?
Off-screen moments?
Yeah, like was there any moments with the cast and crew? So we'll start over. So Coby was on a show on Netflix called Lock and Key. He was on it for 3 seasons. Season 3, he was a series regular. Do you want to explain them what Lock and Key is?
So Lock and Key is an adaptation of a graphic novel, and it's written by Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King, and it's phenomenal.
And illustrated.
It's illustrated by Gabriel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And the main plot is it's about this family, mainly consisting of the mother and her 3 kids, and they move to Massachusetts after their father dies, and they move into his family home, which is this giant house called Key House, and
which was gorgeous.
And they're still like coming to terms with his death. They're grieving him very deeply, and as they settle in, they start hearing these whispers around the house, and they start and when they follow the whispers, they come across these magical keys that have all these abilities. So one can open like a door into your head. One can open up. One can turn you into a ghost. One is like a matchstick, and it emits fire. So there are all types of abilities.
The keys are so cool.
And they're
so cool.
Yeah, and there's this demon in the well house next to Key House, who escapes and is trying to get the keys. So it's them fighting to protect the keys, but also to protect Key House. But it's such a fun show. But that's the main plot.
Yep. And so do you have any favorite moments off screen? Like anything with the cast or anything in Toronto or Lunenburg, traveling, any of the stuff that we did? So I don't have any particular favorite people that I worked with. Everybody on there was amazing. Like I can't choose a specific, but one of the people we were really close with was
Darby Stanchfield, who played the mother, and she was phenomenal. But she for seasons 2 and 3, where she was our neighbor in the same residence, and sometimes we would go out and we'd walk because we were
late at night. Yep.
In Toronto, and we were right by the CN Tower, so we had that connection that we both loved the CN Tower. So we would always walk and talk and just get to know each other. And she was somebody that we just became really close with, and she just
good people.
She became like family to us, and she's just somebody that is really important to me and my mom, and having somebody like that really made me feel comfortable, and it made me think, okay, this is somebody that I feel really comfortable with, that I can talk with.
Yeah.
And she's just a good human.
She is.
She really is. But
she's good people.
But she's somebody that I really got to know, and somebody that I really just bonded with. So
well, she gave you some really good advice about different things about putting a character away when you're done with the season, and even when you're done with the show, and revisiting that character. And she just was a really good person. I think what's cool, what was really cool to see for me as a parent is watching how other people, even someone, so you've got Darby and then someone like Kevin Durand, who kind of took you under his wing and was able just to talk to you and say, hey, this is how it is, and sometimes it's hard, and sometimes everybody thinks, like, I remember my mom said to me one day, she texted me, she's like, does a limo pick you up to take you to and from set? And I was like, Mom, it's a Dodge van. Transport it's not limos. It looks so luxurious, but that, and there are some moments that you have luxurious things, but it's driving out and sitting out at a set, an exterior set in the middle of a field with, mosquitoes and frogs, and it's lovely, but it's, when people think
it's a lot of work. It's exhausting at times.
Yeah, there's not red carpets when you're out there working, and it can be extremely cold or extremely hot or buggy or all those fun things. And I have to say, there were many, many times that I was, back at the monitors at Video Village and tears, because seeing you, Coby, the way you navigated it, even the social situations on the cast and crew was amazing. It was lightning in a bottle, just amazing people. But watching you get to live that dream as your mom was, and knowing what you've been through your whole life was more than anything that I could have asked for. And I know you'll have more experiences like that again. Yeah. There will never be another Lock and Key, but it was really, really cool to get to watch you shine and do work and just get to play with those people, because it was amazing. And that you guys all did it during COVID. I mean, I think we did about 200 COVID tests at this point. We did a lot of COVID tests. Anything else? Oh, so 2 days ago was the 2-year anniversary of you learning to ride a bike. And one of the coolest things about Lock and Key is that the showrunner, Meredith Averill, she saw that Coby learned how to ride a bike, and she wrote in a scene where Rufus rides a bike. And I think that's one of my favorite moments is...
I'm with you. Because that to me was a culmination of what I've learned being on that show, but also it was a culmination of how much progress I've had over the years on that show, and how much I've learned, and how much I've changed, how much I've how much I've learned as a human being, and just that.
Well, you tried, I and others, Uncle Scotty, a lot of us have tried to get you to ride a bike for many, many years, a 2-wheel bike. We ended up getting him one of the 3-wheel adult bikes, because one of the things about people with autism, individuals on the spectrum, is that balance and motor and different things like that are hard. But then put that with directions, and then put that with outside stimulus, like you're riding somewhere, there's other bikes, there's trees, there's sounds. I remember even when you were riding that three-wheel bike, Coby, you had a really hard time because you would just go off the road because you'd start seeing something. And so Coby had tried for years and years to ride a bike, and it was a struggle. And I know how hard you wanted to how much you wanted to do, and you'd said it was your goal a few years in a row.
It was on my bucket list.
Yeah, and it just hadn't happened, and that's okay. And watching you, it was World Autism Day, and you said it was COVID, and we couldn't go onto our roof in Toronto, and you rented the bike and we sat there. You couldn't even get your feet around one time. And in 45 minutes, you went from doing that to then riding your bike back and forth. And I am the proudest mom in the whole wide world.
But also I think the reason why that was so important was that it was on April 2nd.
Yeah.
And that was such a perfect day to do it because it was showing me, it was showing that you can do things if you push yourself, if you don't let anybody get in the way of your opinions. If you want to do something, you do it, and don't let anybody say, "Oh, you can't do this because it's not possible." Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that pessimism, that negativity in your mind. Don't let it seep into your mind. If you want to do something, you do it, and nothing can stop you. Only yourself. But you shouldn't stop yourself.
Can I be you when I grow up? Like, seriously, can I be you when I grow up? Like, I'm so proud of you. I really am. Like, I see what you go through every day, and I just, I always say I love you to the moon.
And back.
But I am proud of the human you are. I'm proud how kind you are. I'm proud that you want to be a voice for other people on the spectrum. And I'm proud that you open yourself up and show people that, like, it's okay to be who you are, even if it's hard. And I want to use all the cuss words to say I effing love you, but I love you all the days, and I'm super proud of you.
I love you too, Mom. I couldn't have done this without your support. Like, I am doing all this stuff I have done all this on my own volition. I have made these decisions myself, and even the painting. I said yes to the painting myself, and you weren't the one that assisted me with it. So, in a lot of ways, you were the one that helped supported me to that point, and in a lot of ways you're the reason You're the main reason I am where I am today, and I couldn't have asked for a better mom.
Excuse me while I'm in a puddle over here crying, because I just love you all the days. I'm going to sit here and be a mess. But I couldn't do it. I mean, yeah. It's very rare that I'm speechless. But it's my pleasure to do this alongside with you. I wouldn't want any other journey.
It's been a phenomenal journey.
I'm super thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you.
Now I'm going to just sit here and cry all the live long day. Thanks, guys. Thanks for making me cry, son. So Coby and I are very silly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Silly's a bit of an understatement.
Or goofy, or nerdy, or dorky, or all the things. And
all understatements.
I tend to sing him awake. I used to sing you to sleep, and now I sing him awake. What do you remember? What songs do you think of me singing you awake?
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. And one of the things that I make him do, and I think you understand this now, is I would get to him, we've danced the whole day through good morning, good morning.
She would try to get me to sing.
And I would stop, I'd go, good morning, and I wouldn't and you go,
it's great to be alive, good morning.
Good morning, to you.
And you.
And I'd be like, no.
Half asleep. Yeah.
And then I would just start singing it. And I sing songs all as loud as I can. I have the worst singing voice, and I don't care, which probably helps him wake up.
I disagree with that.
We have so much fun.
My mother was a great singer.
What was the other one that I say to wake you up? Mostly Good Morning.
Yeah, Good Morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Do you remember the song I used to sing to you to go to sleep?
A Castle on a Cloud?
No, Sandman.
No? Oh yeah, Sandman.
Sleep tight, the Sandman. Soon we'll be by.
Well, no, you didn't see anything, but one of the things I still remember from being a kid was that when you would wake me from school, you wouldn't sing, but you would go in and sing your voice. Get up, it's time to go to school, and that to me was and the funniest thing about that was that the day was the most apparent, like the day like the change was so big was the last day of summer and the first day of school. So it'd be like, oh no, it's school. Oh no, it's school time now.
Yep.
Because that tone in my.
You knew.
I knew. Oh God. Oh no, it's school now.
Well, the other thing I've always done, which it makes me laugh, is I change lyrics to songs. And somehow they come out. I would never be able to.
They come out perfectly. Like
they
come out so well. Like
so whatever
even
he's
I'm surprised.
doing, whatever song I sing, I change it. Or if a song comes on the radio, which Coby and I have a song that comes on, and it came. Actually, we got in the car to come here today, and literally the second I turned the car, it came on, and it's the song "Africa" by Toto. And Coby and I have a dance move, and if he doesn't do it. I get upset. No, we have so much fun. What is our dance move? It goes dun 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 dun. We're such dorks, but we have a blast. We have a dorky time doing all the fun.
We have this debate that during the solo of the song, when it's the solo in Africa, that. So to me it's a keyboard.
It's a flute.
It's a keyboard. I'm going to watch the music video tonight, and I'm going to show it to you.
Even if you say it, I'm always right. I'm never right. But stop. It's a flute. But I always have my own idea of things. I'm wrong most days.
I'm still going to go find it on YouTube.
So how's the painting going? Let's see how the painting is.
I'm almost done. Here we go.
And you know what we totally forgot to show? We forgot to show the video of you doing, there's a little video.
Oh yeah.
Casey, can we show that? So as Coby finishes up this part of the painting, Casey's gonna show a little time lapse. That's what we're doing here, is we're time lapsing him do this. Casey, can you show that for us? Coby, that's so good, you're doing so great.
Thank you. I tried my best to color in the whites.
Try to do a little bit thicker.
No, I tried. Trust me. Is it good though?
It's great.
Good show, yeah?
So now that photo, or that painting, which was Coby's very first painting, is up in the studio here. And are we still on? Hi. So that painting is now here in the studio. It's up. It's a huge photo. I think it's probably 4 feet by 8 feet. I mean, it's a large painting. And to be the very first thing you ever did is pretty impressive, Cobes. So then we had the idea, because that one came out so good, that we would do one while we're here to raise money. So that QR code to go ahead and auction. This is definitely a Starburst. That is
right. So
it looks like
see
Starburst.
What I mean? Yeah,
that is. Can you hold it up and show them what you've done so far?
I just finished it. So it is.
Here, how about we do this?
Yeah. All right. All right, yeah.
I'll hold it here. Oops. Here, hold it up right there. It's still wet.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It looks like Starburst. Okay, go ahead and put it down. Do we want to pull the tape off? You wanted me to do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here, give me tape. Give me the thing.
All right, here you go.
So we'll pull the tape off, and while we pull the tape off, so tell me, okay, so you were talking about this earlier. Tell me what it feels like to paint things, because I mean, this is only your second painting, but you were saying earlier, I just love to hear your explanation.
I'm not enjoying it, nor am I not enjoying it, but the thing is that I'm not thinking about that at all. Because I'm in such a Zen mode that I can't really think about, like, oh, is this fun? Is this enjoyable to me? Because I'm so focused on getting all of the colors in. So I'm thinking about that, but also I'm talking too. So it's but it's also the same thing with acting. I'm so focused on acting that I'm not that everything else around me is kind of like put aside. So with painting, I do it and I think about it, and then once I finish it, I'm like, oh wow, I just did all that. So it's very nice.
So the cool thing about this is whatever money that Coby raises, whatever money Coby raises in this auction, and the auction it will go until this Friday at 10 a.m. So any money goes back to ACT Today, Autism Care Today, and it's going to help raise money for iPads for people on the spectrum. And I think it's really cool that, and people do so many things. Like Coby, you were saying how it's not fun for you. It's not that it's not.
Yeah,
it's that it puts you in a Zen place.
Exactly.
And I kind of love that you could have a place. That is Zen for you, and that you could feel like, okay, now you had said you would like to do more of these, right?
Yeah, I'd love to.
So, and is this going to be your thing, the tape thing, or do you want to try other mediums? Or
I mean, for now, yeah. Because it's easy enough to do. I'm not thinking about like what to do or like what shape should be there. It's trying to find out like what shapes fit, what color goes, and just.
Okay, can you want to hold that and show them what it looks like? It's still very wet.
So
it is so Starburst.
So you got cherry, you got strawberry, you got orange, and you got lemon.
Oh my gosh, that is legit. Like whoever wins this, we're gonna send a package of Starburst,
Seriously,
which are gluten and dairy free.
We are.
There are going to be Starburst in there, 100%, because that is the Starburst. We're gonna show it to the camera here.
I got some paint right here.
Oh well, paint on your hands. I know that's.
I love it. It's paint.
It's paint. Look at that, everyone. So
Embrace the paint on the hand.
Here is. Well, does it go? Which way does it go? This way? It's yellow to red, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Am I backwards?
No, you're right. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So there is Coby's painting. So the auction, the QR code for that painting is going to be on his social media, which is at the Coby Bird. That's for Instagram. In his stories is a QR code. We will post a picture of this when it's dry. Kobe's going to sign it, and we'll post a picture when it's dry. This is now called the Starburst, and whoever wins this, we are sending you a pack of Starburst with yellow, orange, pink, and red Starburst. This is. I wish it smelled like. Ooh, it smells like paint.
I can taste it.
You could now. I feel like we need to go get Starburst on the way home.
I could tell which was which because as I was doing it, I could taste each color. So,
oh, you could?
Yeah. That's also a thing with autism. It's called synesthesia. What was it called?
I forget the word.
Something sin.
Synesthesia.
Synesthesia, thank you.
Something sin. Well, we are actually out of time, and we are so thankful for every one of you being here with us. We're thankful for our autism community. We're thankful for our family, and we're thankful especially to Shannon for putting this together, this 44-hour podcastathon, and asking us to come be here at midnight. It doesn't even feel like it's 1 o'clock in the morning
really
at this point.
Yeah, you kind of forget.
And this hour went by really fast. And thank you. I am thankful for you, and I'm thankful for my whole family.
I'm thankful for everything in this room.
Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.